Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well and keeping safe. These are difficult times, and so it's very important to keep yourself safe. So today I am going to tell you about a tool which has played a very important role in shaping me as a person. So this is something not very ordinary, and this is something very close to my heart, and I have been following this, or you can say I have built up this habit somewhere around 15 years ago, and since then I have kept it alive in me. So you can understand how important it is to me in shaping myself and in growing my mindset and in growing me as a person in general. So that is why I have named it Abundant Mind Tool number 6, and that is reading books. Yeah, reading books is something I have loved for as long as I can remember now. And it has so many benefits, so I can keep on going for hours and hours in telling you this thing. So, people who are into books would vouch for it that nobody has actually become successful without going through this. So, it's that important for our mindset specifically. So, since there are so many benefits of reading book, to keep it short, I would like to speak about a few of those which I find personally very useful, which have aided me in the last couple of years. And those are that reading books improves your concentration, focus, and imagination skills beyond level. Because what happens is that when you are reading a book and you're deeply engrossed into it, what happens is that you don't see what's happening around you, and you don't care about anything else in the world because you're lost in what you're doing. So you're so focused when you're reading a book that you tend to forget everything else. And sometimes what happens that your imagination goes to the level that you can actually feel like you're there inside the book. You can actually feel the characters coming alive. So these days what happens is with me is that when I read self-help books, I go deep into it and I start imagining that wow, what if I start doing what is written over there? Where will I see myself after 6 months or after 1 year? So, what if I decide to actually follow this book like a Bible? How will it impact me? So, when I get deep into a book, I mean, it somehow broadens my horizon. It somehow improves my thinking ability so much, and I start imagining that what if I actually follow everything that's written over there. So besides just improving your focus, concentration, and imagination level, it improves your thinking level, and it grows your mind. It enhances, or you can say it strengthens your brain to such a deep impact that you start feeling it in your day-to-day life. How that happens is that when you start reading, it just does not improves your reading skills, it improves your language skills, it improves your vocabulary, because whatever language you're reading the book in, you become better at it. So you become better at it not just in reading but also in listening and writing. What happens, I mean, other than these benefits, the most important benefit that I can tell you when you're reading a book is that when you pick up different topics, when it comes to books, there is an endless amount of learning that you get out of it. So I mean, it has no limits, because any topic you think of, any skill you want to build, there are so many books around that you can just get so deep perspective of every topic that you want to get deeper into. So what happens then is that when you get deep into the topic and you're like reading it, and you're reading multiple books on the same topic, it enhances your brain capacity to think much more, and you find yourself naturally talking about those things amongst people, and thus you become better at communication as well, and you find yourself, since you're well read, you find yourself more acceptable amongst the society. It's in your mind only. I mean, what happens is that you feel more confident about it, and you feel that since I know about so many topics, because I've read so many books around different areas, so people would accept me more naturally. So it just comes to you that way. So what I have seen in the last few years since I started reading is that I found myself to be much more comfortable talking to people, because in the last few years, since I've read books in different domains, thanks to people who have put me into different areas, and I tried to explore my interests, and that's how I found that there was so much to talk about to people. I mean, whenever I find somebody who's a book reader, I mean, me and that person can go around for hours trying to talk about who's your favorite author, what did you like about reading so much, and what's your comfortable time when you read, and there's so much to talk about in general. So I mean, book reading doesn't help you in just one way in life, it enhances so much, and once you start doing it, only then you actually start realizing the benefits out of it. For those of you who have thought of starting reading books but have not been able to do it so far due to XYZ reasons, let me give you three very simple ways you can start doing it. Because let me if you if you believe me, you would agree with me after you have inculcated that habit after a few months, that how it has changed you as persons. So if you really want to build that habit, follow these three basic steps. First, sometimes people would come up to you and try to tell you, read this book, read that book, I like that book, but you need to start reading. You need to find out your favorite area of interest, or you need to pick up a book from that genre. For example, it may be romance, thriller, suspense, psychology, drama. I mean, it may be a fiction, non-fiction, self-help book. Whatever you find your most interest in, pick a book from that area. Because what happens, since you're only building up the habit, and you pick up a wrong book, so you don't find yourself looking forward to reading that book every day. Because I mean, if you don't have any interest in the topic, you're picking up the book the next day would become a task for you, and you would not enjoy reading. So reading is all about enjoying. It's not something that should come to you as something forceful, that somebody is forcing you to do it. Otherwise you would never be able to enjoy the act. So try to pick up a book in an area which interests you, so that in a few months time, what happens is that once you've built up a habit of reading, after that, since you know that what are the benefits of reading, it will be easier for you to shift your focus to books which are actually helping you out. Or if you want to enhance some skills, so today you won't be able to pick up that book because it doesn't interest you that much. It might sound boring, but after a period of time, once you've built up the habit, starting from something that you actually liked reading, it becomes easier for you to inculcate the things later on in life. That's what happened with me, because earlier I couldn't just go for non-fiction. I was only into fiction. But after a certain years, I found out that I need to get into self-help or development books, and that's when since I had already known the benefits of reading, it became easier for me to go to those books. So I really implemented this in my real life. Second, second rule, or you can say second step, which is very simple, is that fix up your reading hours. Why it is important is because when you won't fix up the I mean, it won't be hours. It's not necessary that you fix up hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, or 10 hours in a day. No, it can be as simple as 10 minutes in a day or 5 minutes in a day, but it should be fixed. How it helps is because since you're already starting to build the habit, you won't find it easy, so you tend to procrastinate, and you tend to put it to the next hour, or the next half of the day. You would say that I will read it at night, but then at night you're too sleepy, so it goes to the next day, and that's how you're not able to start any day, and it becomes too difficult for you, and it becomes a task again, a monotony for you, so you don't do it. So, but if you're like really genuinely interested in building up that habit, how you can go about it is that fix up 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a day, and say that yes, these 10 minutes are only dedicated to reading the book. I am not going to do anything else in that time. I'm going to keep my electronic gadgets aside, and those 10 minutes only for my reading, because that's important to me and I can see the future benefits out of that. So let's say 7 p.m. to 7:10 p.m. only for book reading. Third very important step is that give yourself a target number of pages that you can pick up in a day, in that particular time slot that you've picked into. how that is important is that don't give yourself a target of 50 pages in a day if you're just starting, because you'll become overwhelmed. You would not be able to even read one page. If you give yourself 50 pages but you're not able to reach that target for 1 day or 2 days, you would feel bad about it. So you may only start with one page per day, but do it every day consistently in the time slot that you've given. And when you will combine these three things together, that you're picking up a topic that interests you, second you're picking up your time slot, and third you are just starting with maybe 1 pages or 2 pages per day, then slowly and gradually after a week or 2 weeks, what will happen is that you would start increasing your time slot, because you're reading a topic which you're interested in. So that is bound to happen that you would next day feel that maybe let me see what's there on the next page, let me see how the story unfolds next, let me see what the author has to tell more. So maybe from 2 pages you go to 4 pages, and then from 4 to 6, and gradually you can sometimes finish a book in a week also. It's all in your hands how you do it. So fix up your time slot. For me, it's like I like reading just before I sleep, because as I said that this thing, reading aids your sleep as well. I mean, I feel more relaxed after reading a book, and hence I feel that before sleeping I need my mind to have only positive thoughts, and I don't want to be distracted, and I want a peaceful sleep. So I do reading just before I sleep, but for you it can work at your own time. So it's completely up to you when you pick that up. And if you're able to follow these 3 steps, which are like really very simple, then let me congratulate you already, because you're already there in the readers club. For those of you who already love reading like me, and who are already on their way to reading more and more books on different topics, I congratulate you, because you're already on your path to success, because reading book would guarantee your success. With this, I would like to end it with a quote which says, a reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. This holds very true for me. Why? Because there are so many stories that I have to tell to people, since I've been reading so many books, that wouldn't have been possible if I had not inculcated this habit of reading books. So with this, I'll close the video for today, and I'll see you all guys very soon. All the best, keep safe.